that he gave me a Mitsubishi Outlander as a bonus. I sat his off and I looked at him and said, if you can give me a 200,000 Rand car as a bonus, what money didn't I make for you this year? And that moment I resigned right there, and I decided that I need to do this for myself.
So it was a bad move.
It was a bad move. He looked at me funny. He said, I thought you would be happy. And I said, I am happy. But can you give me the number? Because obviously I'm in charge of your department. I don't want to mention the industry, because obviously all the listeners would know where I worked. And he looked at me and he said, you brought in something like ridiculously amount of US dollars, because we dealt with the US market for that year, millions. And I told him, and you're giving me a 200,000 Rand car as a bonus. I made this company millions of dollars. I said thanks. I walked out of there and I started my own company. That was about 7 or 8 years ago. Same day I went and I started my own company, and obviously at the beginning it was difficult, and it's in my
So
book.
what did you do when you started your own company? You did what?
Well, the industry that I was in was call center. I decided that, you know, I needed to build a product and I need to get something out there into the market. I rented 2 seats from a bigger call center, would allow me to rent 2 seats. My company grew from 2 to 10 to 20 to 30 to bigger premises. Now we have 2 floors in Century City where we're employing 120 people. That's just the one company of the call center in Cape Town, which I partner with my brothers, by the way, my younger brothers. I brought them in. They studied, by the way. The one's got his honors in marketing and the other one's got his degree in psychology. So yeah, and they're both working with me today.
But they haven't got honours in employment.
Exactly, they don't have the honours in entrepreneurship.
Well, there you are indeed. We're going to continue chatting to Thaamir Moerat as I put him in the spotlight. Fascinating guy.
I don't feel that schools teach people to be entrepreneurs afterwards. Schools are sort of, the curriculum are training people to think in a certain way and training them to actually go and get a tertiary education, and not promoting entrepreneurship. If I could, I would bring in a completely different subject in schools and actually call it entrepreneurship, and have a subject to train people how to make money, how to sell skills, how to speak, how to present yourself.
Why do you think
they don't do it?
Why do you think they don't do that?
I don't know.
If it's such an obvious thing.
Honestly, I don't know. I had this conversation with, on the board at Paul Boyzai with some of my ex students that are sitting on the exco today, and they actually said it themselves as well. It's weird that schools aren't doing it. I honestly can't answer that question, but it's something that we should look into. Even if they have like nowadays they have all these funny subjects that you can do after school. Why not? The new book is called The Next Best Thing, which would be available in March. My Soldier is available at Bargain Books at the moment countrywide.
Okay. Now, just to digress for a second as I continue putting Thaamir Moerat in the spotlight. As you know, we do this entrepreneurial slot, the money makers, on a Wednesday from 2:30 to 3. And this really is to you, the listeners, right? So we've had a mentor coming in every Wednesday, sort of talking about what they do and giving you some great advice. If you have questions regarding your business, I'm not going to take it now. If you're in a startup and you're struggling with certain issues and you need to get certain things answered, whether it's funding, whether it's equity partners, whether it's the type of product, marketing, all that sort of thing, drop me an email. Ashraf, spelled A-S-H-R-A-F, ashraf@safm.co. And then we'll be being very specific, and then we'll get the mentor to answer those questions to you directly on air next week, Wednesday, 2:30 to 3. But I'm happy to bring the mentor in, but you need to play the part as well. So if you can do that, that would be absolutely great. Let's talk about call center. So I'll say, can I speak to Ashraf or Mr. Garda? I'll say, like, what? He says, look, just to tell you, this call is recorded. My immediate thing is like, okay, listen, guy, you got 20 seconds to give me your pitch. What do you want? I put them under pressure very deliberately. I want them to sway from the script that they're reading.
Yeah.
Because they sound terribly boring, and the reality is they are interrupting other people's business.
Well, it's a numbers game. Remember, you've got to call, it's a ratio. A typical call center sales agent needs to call about 200 people a day to possibly make 10 sales, which is a 1 out of 20 hit rate. So you would be one of the guys that would be on the don't call list. Let's get on to the next one. So it's simply a numbers game. Yes, you can be trained to be really good at it. And when I was on the phone, I had a hit ratio of about 1 out of 10, which is quite good. It's 50%.
So 1 out of 10 compared to 1 out of, did you say 10 out of 200 or something?
Most call center agents would get 1 out of 20. And my hit ratio when I was on the phones back in the days was 1 out of 10. I've got a couple of agents now that do about 1 out of 15. But to get a 1 out of 10 hit ratio is really
All right, so give us some tips. I know many people probably have dropped out of varsity like you, and they're looking for a job even today, right? And part-time jobs as call center, hosts would be great. So how would they respond to not the amiable caller who's like, yes, and how do they respond to people like me? Who literally tells them, hey, I'll give you 20 seconds. Make your pitch or else.
Well, if you've got a good opening and you can start really solid, that it sort of, you won't get that response from somebody, but then you always get different types of people that would answer you differently. So you remember, you're the type of guy that we would just say, if you don't like what I'm saying, put the phone down in my face and feel free to leave me. I had a couple of callers like that when I was in back then, and that was my response. If you don't like what I'm about to say in 20 seconds, hang the phone up. It's not going to affect my life. It's your loss as much as it is mine.
Actually, that's a good opening. Then I'll say, okay, I want to hear what you have to say indeed. Now, we continue chatting. I want to know where it all started in terms of who inspired Thaamir Moerat to do exactly that, what he's doing. We'll do it right after.
Guy is on the go. I only want to say to him that he is truly using his God-given potential, not just to enrich himself, but truly indeed to bless people like us who are listening to things like what he's doing. I really wish him all of the best, and I believe that we can only but learn from the best. Keep it up, my brother.
Indeed, yeah. Just to stick around, maybe Thaamir will respond to you. Just go ahead, yeah.
Just thanks. I'm very humbled by that comment. You know, I'm actually thinking of giving out a few books today. So I don't know how you should contact the studio. You've got it book. Mama, I sold you. It's definitely yours. Ashraf, how are we going to get it in?
Well, let me check with Joey. We'll
check with Joey.
Get my producer to think of some ideas and how we can do this book.
Yes.
But maybe just carry on listening and leave Joey your number. We'll see if we can connect with you. All right. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Kolani, let's get your thoughts. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, Kolani, you're on there. Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to network with this fellow. I'm in Umtata, and I'm opening up a call center in 2 months.
So give me your sales pitch. That's what I would ask you.
Well, I was about to ask you. Give me a pitch and tell me why.
Well, as much as I'm into business and not a government institution, whilst there's an opportunity in the Eastern Cape for jobs, to create jobs with a call center, but I believe that it's value add to reduce the numbers that hit your big towns, your Joburg and Cape Town. It makes sense for me to be able to support the job system within the Transkei area.
Okay, so stick around. Just answer him.
Yeah, you can. I think you can leave your number with Joey, and I can.
All right.
How we can do
what I'll do is okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to get Thaamir to give out his email address just now. Yeah. All right.
Or they can Twitter me at Talk to Sales.
All right. We'll get all his contact details in the course of the show, and you can connect with him. Yeah. So there you are. How often does that happen? Where people say, "I want to connect with you"?
Well, Ashraf, I get pitched probably daily. I see about 5 or 6 people a week that want to do business with me. It's all about getting the right person. Like I said earlier, I saw about 100 to 200 people to find the right partners. And I don't know if I should mention this online, but I've got a venture in the pipeline with Tracy McGregor and Corne Krieger, which will also be something big going forward this year. So yeah, I would probably just see who the guy is, see what his concept is, see what he sells.
But how do you know the guy's right? I mean, let's say the concept. Look, if the concept's wrong, it's wrong.
I was ahead of
But if the concept's right,
yes.
How do you know that's the person you want to deal with?
Okay.
Keeping in mind, some guys say, having a partner is like being married to that person.
Yes.
So how do you make that decision?
I was head of /online media for 4 years. It's a company in Cape Town where they do online advertising. And these guys trained me to read people so well. Because remember, you're in charge of negotiations. So I've got a knack for reading people's body language and seeing exactly what. And my gut feeling always seems to be right. So I've got to meet with someone. I'll never do it online. I'll never do it via email.
What are you reading? What are you reading?
What am I reading? Should we really go there?
Well, you never know. I'm quite comfortable whatever you may say.